In Mongolia's Khinti Mountains, east of the capital, Gunvald Sorsabaram has watched over a herd his entire life. Just like his grandfather and his grandfather before him.
I have spent 30 winters here, and if we count my grandpa's time, it adds up to over 100 years. My ancestors have been living in this place for generations.
Over the years, how to herd these animals has stayed largely the same. But how to make a living off them is changing. Like herders across Mongolia, Gunvald makes money by collecting cashmere from goats. He owns a few hundred of them. But there's another animal that's more at home in this high-altitude terrain.
Yaks are resilient animals in cold weather. They are capable of enduring harsh winter conditions in the mountains. Also, the dried curd made from their milk is good, and the milk they provide is quite thick.
You can make clothes from yak wool too. Like goats, yaks shed the insulating layer under their shaggy coats when the weather gets warmer. But while the market for cashmere took off in past decades, yak wool was never as popular. That's because the fibres are a little coarser. They're also darker, so yak wool is difficult to dye. But a growing number of companies are betting that yak could be the next big thing. One of the largest is BODIOS. It began as a cashmere trading business more than 30 years ago, but pivoted to selling yak wool to stand out in an already crowded cashmere market. Now, in their factory in West Ulaanbaatar, BODIOS says it produces more than half the yak wool products in Mongolia. It makes tens of thousands of cashmere garments as well, and says a lot of the production process is the same. The textiles are washed by the same machines and sewn by the same craftspeople. But manager Ishbalgir Batolug wants to convince consumers that yak wool can be even better than cashmere.
Cashmere, the whole world knows. There are like 10,000 tons available only from Mongolia. Whereas yak, it's only 100 tons. It's like 200 times rarer than cashmere. In terms of softness, the cashmere and the yak down, they're very close. Unless you are an extremely sensitive person, a lot of the times you wouldn't feel the difference. The yak down is warmer, and at the same time it breathes better.
Right now, yak wool garments sell for less than cashmere at BODIOS, but demand is growing, in Mongolia and abroad. Ishbalgir says BODIOS now exports to countries in North America, Europe and Asia. And he believes the yak wool market will grow as consumers become more aware of the environmental challenges that can come with cashmere. Climate change and extreme weather are affecting Mongolia's rangelands, causing degradation. Add an estimated 27.5 million goats grazing on these ecosystems, and the problem gets worse.
If the grazing capacity declines, it is better to have yaks. They require less fodder compared to other livestock.
Ishbalgir agrees from personal experience. He was once a yak herder too.
I jokingly say I'm lost in the city and never found my way back to the countryside. First of all, yak is very rare. There are only like 600,000 yaks in Mongolia. And secondly, they graze in a higher altitude where most animals don't reach.
A higher price for yak wool could incentivize herders to breed more yaks and fewer goats, reducing pressure on the grasslands. And with less competition for grazing space, goats have more to eat. This can improve the quality of their cashmere and drive up profits for herders, according to the UN Development Programme.
Very much what is important is working on reducing the size of the herds overall, so there's less degradation of the land. And in the context of cashmere, that means improving the quality of the cashmere so that the herders can maintain a good livelihood, have a good income, while having less animals that they have to look after.
In years to come, the success of Mongolia's cashmere industry may depend on balance between preserving ancient ways of life and embracing modern technology, investing in sustainable practices, and knowing when to make less. These Mongolians are taking control of cashmere's production and its story to define the next era of how cashmere is made in Mongolia.